Okay, now we are not on the same place, but we are there again.
Same channel, different program. Hi guys.
Was the
I saw
apocalypse?
it start to go uploading, and I was like, "What? What did I do?"
Press the wrong button.
Okay, so I'm gonna look. We're in a different one then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. All right, let's find out.
27, part 2.
Yes, point two.
There's people in the
Yeah.
chat already. Oh, I got the
Okay.
check back. I have the chat again, but no one is
Sorry,
watching.
guys. Ricardo pressed stop by accident.
Let me go to X and give the new link. Sorry.
All right, we got to rethink your producer position here.
Sorry, I fucked
That was
up.
our shortest episode ever, man. That was
Maybe.
incredible. How did we get it all into such a short amount of
How,
time?
how do how do I do this? This is just here. It has to be here. Places
Yeah, it's
YouTube.
there. It's there. It's under Institute for Natural Philosophy. It's just the one without our logo, but it's there. All right. I don't think I can get back in the chat of the other one and tell everybody to come find us over here. Don't sweat it, bro. Shit happens. I've done it before. I have done it before myself. Yeah, I can't hop back in that chat and tell them. So hopefully they'll figure it out.
I'm gonna
Everybody,
post on
tell your friends
X.
that we're in there. We are now in here. It happens. I was sitting there looking at you and I was like, man, why can't I hear you? Press your mute button. And then I see uploading and I was like, what? I messed up. But I'm glad it I'm not glad it was you, but I'm glad it wasn't me. All right. We'll give everybody a second to trickle over.
Yeah, let me just post again and
Yeah, exactly, pagan. What does this button do? Well, see, I've done it before, so I'm busting his balls, but I've done it before. So when you do that, guys, it automatically in the corner of your screen when it ends, there's a little button that says upload status. I was sitting here reading and I saw upload status and I was like, damn it, Jason. And I was like, wait a minute, I can't do it. It's not on mine. Ricardo must have done it.
okay. We have 7 back.
Oh, good. Jacqueline said my message to check the channel came through in the chat. So that's awesome. Okay. So everybody knows where we are. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, it looks like we got almost
No,
everybody there.
I'm terribly sorry, everyone. So it's
Dude, we get 2 shows in one. I mean, what are you sorry for? That's
yeah.
like now we just got to remember not to go 2 hours on this one because we already did 40 minutes. And
Well, you
well,
still have
do you
12
remember
pages to read
what
or
you were gonna
11.
say before you pressed stop? Do you remember where your thought was?
It's not awesomeness. It's awareness.
What? I thought it says awesomeness.
Global
Are you sure?
conscious awareness. It's a term that I
I believes me. It says awesomeness. Look, let me find
it
the share
does.
button. Yeah, it does. Look, share,
Okay.
window, PDF, share. Yeah. Okay, right here. Global conscious awesomeness. That's where we ended, everybody. I was like, GCA. I love it, dude. And he's like, no, it's not awesomeness. It says awareness. No, bro. And this
Okay.
is better.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Dave? Sorry, we're this is our second show of the day, bro. Ricardo just accidentally ended the other live stream. So, but we're back here, and we have invented a term that the author did not mean to: global consciousness awesomeness.
Awesomeness. Spectacular.
Awesomeness. I think I like it, dude. GCA. All right,
All
so
right.
we'll
One paragraph.
All right, I'm
You
gonna
have to
click.
change because that one is not edited yet. You have to
I'm gonna
change to the.
click stop sharing. Hang on.
No, no.
Um,
I mean, don't continue reading because the other one is edited.
oh, go to the yeah. I got you. The new one you
Yeah.
sent me. I got you. We've got like a paragraph left, guys, and we're on to chapter 5. I'll take one last look at the chat. I don't know. In Apollo 13, they knew to post
Place
a
a note
note
over
over
the
the
eject.
eject button. You have to. You should get in here and see it from our perspective, man. It's so silly. There's a stop and a leave, and all these
It's
buttons that you don't need to press are right next to each other.
it's so small.
It is. So you go share and you accidentally press stop because it's like there's like half a millimeter between them. So anyway, we are ready to continue on. Let's get this last paragraph knocked, and then we'll talk for a minute, and we'll start our chapter 5.
Hmm.
All right, final paragraph, chapter 4, and I'll back up a few sentences since we got cut there. Together, well, let's just do finally because I like this point you were making before we got cut off. So we'll do the last two paragraphs. Finally, the relationship between creationism and evolutionism need not be adversarial. Indeed, they are complementary threads in the tapestry of existence. Evolution reveals the methods and processes through which the Creator's work unfolds, while creationism provides the metaphysical context, the why behind the how. Together, they invite us to see the universe not as a battleground of ideas, but as a harmonious dance of design and change, where every star, every organism, and every atom plays its part in a cosmic symphony, and more importantly, are all conscious in one fashion or another, or in the very least, part of the global consciousness awesomeness. It is your term now, man. You got to own it. Wherever you fixed it, go back and change it to awesomeness. We're going to make every scientist have to say awesomeness from here on out when they want to talk to us.
It's
See, consciousness is awesome, isn't it, dude? You can't boil it
awesomeness
down to
reminds me
particles.
always reminds me of that movie of Jack Black of heavy metal. I can't remember the name.
Oh, School of Rock. Yeah,
Rock.
School of Rock. That's a good movie. It was a good movie.
No swearing on that movie at all.
I know his energy is something, man. By embracing this perspective, we acknowledge the limitations of human understanding while celebrating the mystery of existence, whether through the mechanisms of adaptation or the miraculous bursts of creation. Life bears the unmistakable signature of intelligence. As we continue to explore and discover, we must do so with humility, recognizing that behind every law of nature lies the hand of a designer, and within every question lies the seed of a greater truth. Thus completes chapter 4.
And I want to thank everybody because everybody's back. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry again. Thank you.
thank you guys. That means the world that you
It
followed
was
us
not
through.
awesome, but
It's just what it needed to be, man. We got 2 episodes in one day. I mean,
yeah.
how's that for productivity? All right, let me close out this one. And you sent me a newly updated chapter 5. Yes, and it's waiting right there. Perfection. Okay, guys. So in chapter 5, we're continuing with this thread. And Ricardo, I don't have anything to say about that last chapter. I mean, I think I let my feelings burst out before I started reading. But as we finished, as I suspected, you're saying exactly what I was saying, or I was saying exactly what you were saying in your book. Is just that is I've never, ever, my whole life, I have never understood, when I'd look going through school and college and university and all that, and you're looking at these books and you're going back in time, looking at the history, and you're going, why the fuck does science and spirituality fight each other? I never understood it. I always saw it the way you were putting it here, is that one of them is showing us the mechanisms and the other is answering the larger
Yeah,
questions. And when you put them together, you come up with a much fuller and richer picture. Yeah.
exactly. let me just answer Ro.
Yeah.
So Ru, no, I'm saying that, but I'm not just saying that. So you just pointed out that the Cambrian might actually not be the explosion that is described here. We have to figure out that this was written 16 years ago. So science
Hmm.
has new data now. But my point is this: every time that we change, and the one that we know best is the end of the dinosaurs and the rise of the mammals, right? But that happened many times in the past, at least six times. So a type of creatures was dominating, something happened, disappears, another type of creatures appear, right? Which by itself shows there is no evolution involved. It's just extinction, new creatures. And I think that every time that happened, it happened, it might have happened by chance, but it happened because of impacts. And those impacts bring things that destroy what it was and brings new type of life. So that is my point, Ru. That's so I
Yeah.
hope I was clear on that.
Yeah.
So it's intelligent design, but it might not be exactly let's point it at that planet. No, it's just they are sent like thousands of them are sent into the universe, and
Well,
eventually one of them hit a planet.
when you
So it
say
can be just that.
I kind of I'm gonna take what you said one step further though, and I got this and many other things like particularly I'm thinking of a speech of Randall Carlson's I saw, but his point was this, and he's talking directly what you're talking about these impacts, right? Okay, well if you look, just take the solar our solar system, right, and you have it in your head, you see it, it's all spinning there, and just do it around. Okay, now, when you trace the motion of these impacts from where they hit Earth backwards through time, right? What you see then is an object entering from, let's just keep our solar system. Now, don't worry about before that. But when it enters, you immediately start to see a play of forces, right? For instance, it hits Jupiter, I'm just making shit up here, right? It hits Jupiter, and Jupiter's gravity bends it over this way just right. So then when it gets over here to the next planet, boom, it's able to swing in there. And then boom, it swings in here. And then boom, Earth. And he said, what you are left with when you study that trajectory is basically like the image of like I'm thinking of like a Swiss watch, all these fine gears that tune. And if one little tiny thing, one little itsy bitsy force of gravity or solar wind was not the way that it precisely was, those impacts don't happen, right? And so for me to then go, okay, so these impacts, I can see how they got here, precisely orchestrated. If anything went wrong at all, it wouldn't have happened. But then you tell me that when these impacts occurred, they're what responsible for these major shifts in development upon this planet. Okay, see right there, after that little short exercise, I don't see how you have trouble finding intelligent design.
Sure, but there is something that I must add to what you said. It's
Go
my
ahead,
time now.
please.
That is, Oumuamua didn't respect any of those laws.
Okay.
And that's why I'm differentiating. There is this different type of objects. We possibly might have seen two so far since we are recording history, but the only one that I think it's actually there's substantial or enough, let's put it that way, enough observation to it to me for me to think that it is an object apart. It's different from
Sure.
everything else we've seen. So, who stops it from actually its sensors know what type of planet he's looking for? Because it slowed down, it changed trajectory, he avoid being captured by Jupiter, for instance,
Right.
right? So he knew what he's going to face according to what is around him. So it has some awareness by sensors or by consciousness. He had awareness of its environments, and he decided not to impact anything. It just curved out and went away, literally.
Right.
So some of these might think, oh, that planet has the type of atmosphere that I have the nutrients for to create new life. Now, replying again to Rue, it's exactly what I'm saying. The problem is you are thinking that DNA can do that by itself. Well, I don't think it does, Rue, because and I'll pass the word to Jason, but I don't think DNA is structured to destroy itself and everything around it. That certain point DNA decides and let's cause an extinction, right? So DNA is subjected because it is the source of everything we see in life, except for extremophiles. Because extremophiles are types of life that don't follow our rules. They can be in the most potent of acids. They can be in the most radioactive of environments. They don't care. Extremophiles can be in extreme high temperatures. They don't care. That's where they thrive. So it's different types of life. And then you have
Haven't
life.
we found an organism that eats radioactivity?
Yes, yes. It
That
it
I mean, like for
it
instance,
lives. It appears within nuclear reactors
yeah, yeah,
the same way that you have biological life appearing in the windows of the space station. They have to come out regularly to clean the windows because they get foggy because life attaches to the glass on the outside.
right,
It might be far fetched to call it life, but it's biological matter,
right.
right? So it multiplicates. That's why it starts slow and then starts finds the glass. Oh, this is good, right? So uh, yes, extremophile pagan, you can go and look for it. It's extremely interesting. These are types of creatures that, or bacteria, or microbes,
Oh, they're
or
creatures like down in the
yeah,
ocean, man. They're like nearly like little shrimp sizey things that live in thermal vents, temperatures that
yeah, above
supposedly
high,
life,
above high, 100
right.
centimeters. Yeah, um,
All situations where according to our standard rules, life is not supposed to be able to exist, yet not only do we find it, but we find whole organisms adapted to do just that. Yeah, that's
sure,
extremophile. I like what you said there, Pagan. If we weren't here, then we wouldn't be here. Isn't that mind blowing? Yes,
it is.
that reminds me of one of my favorite quotes I ever heard in any Alcoholics Anonymous speech. And he ended with this. He said, "We are precisely where we are meant to be, as evidenced by the fact that we are here."
Exactly.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to say, if we didn't drink, we won't be here.
No, 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 no. No, because Alcoholics Anonymous, it's all about spirituality. Once you get past the first few days of, what are the months of not being able to drink, then it's all about finding the spirituality, right? But yeah, that quote did it for me, man. I like that. I wore that. I was like, that's it. That's all the damn evidence I need.
Yeah. And pagan, that will be true as soon as we can find proper probes that support the, the extreme pressures in Venus, because if what you're saying is correct, then super high temperature and pressure creates life, then Venus must be teeming with it because it doesn't lack that. You know that when you're descending Venus, there's a part of the sky where it's constantly raining sulfuric acid.
No, I didn't.
It's just like a band of the sky when you're coming down. There's a part of it we never touch the ground, but it's constantly raining sulfuric acid. So the probes we sent there not only
Mm-hmm.
had to support pressures equivalent to the abyss on the sea,
Mm-hmm.
they had to go through sulfuric acid, terrible winds, and extreme heat and pressure. That's why the Russians managed to for it to survive 12 minutes. I think it's the record or something like that. Not much more than that until it crumbles because of the pressure that there is in there. But you have tiny little shrimps living in abyss by volcanoes, as you just spoke about, right?
Yeah.
So that's to me boggles my mind because the abyssal fish, when you bring them to the surface, they don't explode. They are just the same way at the surface as they are at the bottom. So where is the pressure on those animals?
Okay, let's. All right, chat. Scribed. I see you put the mushroom there. I'm not sure what that was about. Other than, I do think yet again, man. Look at mushrooms. Look at the what do you call it? The microphilia networks they set up below forests to communicate and transfer food, and all of these wonderful things. Let alone
No, no,
the
no wonder.
abilities.
No
Do
wonder
what?
they named the planet after a woman.
Don't laugh at that. Shame on you for laughing at that. Rue. So shaman is equating spirituality with life, not consciousness. Okay, I'm not sure where you're going with that one, Rue, but I'll see if I can qualify that for you. Listen, bro, I don't know what y'all mean, but when I use the word spirituality, I am referring to all things within this reality which are limited, five senses do not register, but are there. Okay. So the
How can you have one without the other?
how can you have one without what do you mean? Spirituality without consciousness?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it does seem sort of go hand in hand. It seems, but I mean, to his point, he's trying to be specific, and so we'll let him be, and I'll explain to you. That's what I mean by spirituality, right? So your consciousness, for instance, is spiritual, right? Show me your consciousness, Rue. Do you have it? Can you put it in a bucket? No, you can't, right? But it's there, right? Okay, spirituality is the same thing to me, man. My cat can see more ranges of the visible light spectrum than I can. We see this much, cat sees that much. That means my cat technically sees much more of reality and knows more about it than I do.
Some even do things that we can't see at all because
Think about it, man.
they are
When you see
following things and
exactly when you see your cat staring at something and it looks like it's staring off into space and it starts swatting at it, that's because there's something there, y'all. You need to check your surroundings.
that's when you run.
That's when you go, get the fuck out of here. You can't be near me. Leave
Honey,
my cat
we are
alone."
going on vacation.
What was the, how that made me think of the the Top Gear commercial I sent you? You guys watch Top Gear? You ever seen Top Gear? The three Jeremy Clarkson. They were somewhere in Africa, and he's looking through the binoculars, and he sees a man behind a donkey doing that, and he puts down the binoculars. Says,
He asked
"Can
the
I-
guide. I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry, but is he doing something with it? Like, oh yes, that's perfectly normal here. We all do it. And then you see Jeremy walk past the other two. We're leaving. No, but what about no? We're leaving. So yeah, Rue, spirituality to me, I don't, people like to, when you use that word, they like to go, oh, you're talking about religion or beliefs in so and so, and like, no, I'm talking about every single facet of your reality that your limited five senses don't pick up on, but that your other senses do, that your consciousness does. Your consciousness can attach, communicate, and commune with all of these things. And that little mushroom scribe put in there is yet another one of those helpful tools randomly supplied by chance to the universe to work perfectly with our brains and
Meaningless
open us up to further. Yeah,
purposeless.
just fucking random.
Let's go into the human problem.
Let's do the human problem. Chapter 5. I gotta stop reading chat now. I never personally had a problem with alcohol, but I ate some mushrooms one time while drinking and it forever changed my relationship with alcohol for the better. Brilliant, dude. Brilliant.
I'm always stoned, but I don't drink anymore. I'm just kidding. I know it works.
Okay, Rue, I'm trying to help, bro, but you don't understand the concept. You don't understand my take. The cat, the dog, the grasshopper all have a version of I am. Without I am, how can there be spiritual? I don't know, Rue. You're going to have to come at me somewhere different. It sounds like we're saying the same thing.
The same thing, yes.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like we're saying the same thing, just using different words. Yeah. And Jacqueline had the same experience with, mushrooms, guys, are extremely helpful as a tool for what you just said there in chat. When you're looking to make changes, when you're looking to alter behavior, because the active chemical in those mushrooms completely creates new
Rewires.
synapses. It
We
recreates new pathways, right? New neural pathways. So you've got these worn out fucking neural pathways that this addiction or whatever has been traveling over all these years. You take mushrooms and you get new neural. You wake up the next morning and you're like, whoa, somebody just splashed water on the chalkboard of me. Everything is new, right? And in that moment, in those preceding like weeks, 2 weeks, let's say, you can then decide, you know what, I'm not smoking cigarettes. You know what, I'm not drinking. And those new neural pathways that were just formed suddenly cement in that new choice of yours and that new behavior. So as you start engaging and running that new neural pathway, you're now forming new wires in your brain that don't drink, that don't, whatever, that go along with your new choices.
The one that
Yes.
has an efficiency way above 80% to any kind of addiction. So
Yeah.
even heroin, any kind of addiction,
Yeah.
is ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Because first the body is purged, so it's 2 hours of taking everything out for every single orifice,
Right.
and then comes an experience for whatever people are faced in, told or experienced, they don't want to go back to what they were. So it's very much like a near death experience with such a powerful lesson.
Right.
Then it just goes, it disappears, right?
Yep.
Which I think it's amazing. A plant and a vine, some leaves and a vine cooked for 24 hours.
Well, Rue, who said anything about cocaine? I'm not sure what coke has to do with mushrooms. He says all the coke heads I've met have lost neural matter, not gained it. Yeah, nobody is advising you use cocaine to gain neural matter. But
Nope.
psilocybin science has proved that it creates new neural pathways.
Yeah,
It's
you
it's
had this lady didn't move, didn't speak for five
yes,
years.
yes.
She took
Alzheimer's.
a massive. You think it's not, but she
She
took a
said five
massive dose.
grams. 5 grams.
7 the first time, then 5, and
Oh
then
well, seven is yeah, seven's that's what I consider proper.
Jesus. Not even Terence McKenna did 7. You look at
I'm
you and
big, dude. I'm fucking 6'5". Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I don't. I also, I'm already fairly connected with that realm, so that stuff is kind of just like a little,
and she
tick.
woke up the other day and she could move, communicate. Of course, he
Talked
doesn't
about her
last, but
life, telling
it
stories.
it rewired the brain completely.
Yeah, she was completely shut down. I mean, no function whatsoever. And after doing that, she was taking herself to the bathroom, telling her kids all about her life, and those gains from that one dose, it was something like 4 or 5 months, wasn't it? That they generally stuck around. Still damn near what somebody might call miraculous if you've
Yeah.
ever lived with somebody in that condition. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Chapter 5, Creationism versus Evolution, the Human Problem. Introduction. Let's plus up one. There we go. At the heart of human inquiry lies a singular, profound question: where do we come from? For centuries, the clash between creationism and evolution has been the battlefield where science and faith contend for the answers. These two narratives could not be more different, yet each wields an influence that shapes the way we perceive ourselves and our place in the cosmos. Evolution, heralded as the crown jewel of modern science, proposes a universe governed by chance and necessity. It depicts life as a slow, unrelenting march of adaptation and survival, driven by the blind mechanisms of natural selection. At its apex stands humanity, the product of countless eons of evolution, yet nothing but an animal shaped by the forces of its environment, one bearing the seeds of self awareness. Y'all do understand why evolutionism and it's wanting to take all things down to chance and matter. Y'all
Yeah,
do understand why they want you to believe that, right? It keeps you in the matrix. It keeps you believing that
grounded.
everybody, we must be the best, and all the experts, I better listen to them because this is all chance, and that means they are important and they know what's going on. So I got to listen to them and shoot myself with cancer if they tell me to, right?
Mm.
That's why they want y'all to believe this shit, just in case you hadn't come up with that already yourselves. At its apex stands humanity, the product of countless eons of evolution, yet nothing but an animal shaped by the forces of its environment, one bearing the seeds of self awareness. To this day, however, evolution has failed to prove itself beyond doubt. Between the ancient apes and modern humans yawns an abyss that no fossil thus far discovered has been able to bridge fully. The missing link, a shadowy relic of what might have been, eludes us still. Despite all our technological might, the gaps in this grand mosaic endure, inviting doubt and challenging the completeness of this scientific scripture. Good use of words there.
Hmm.
In stark contrast stands creationism, rooted deeply in the spiritual and mythological traditions of humankind. Its proponents believe that humanity was sculpted by divine hands, imbued with purpose and sanctity from the moment of inception. The Bible's Genesis speaks of a creator who fashioned man from the dust, breathed life into his form, a tale echoed in diverse mythologies from across the globe. In these accounts, the human story is not one of random chance, but of deliberate design. Yet, this perspective, often accused of clinging to dogma, faces ridicule from a scientific establishment that demands empirical evidence as the only arbiter of truth. Once again, I'm here to help with that. The debate rages not merely between opposing viewpoints, but within the very hearts of those who dare to ponder it. Might these narratives, so divergent at first glance, hold within them reflections of a greater unified truth? The human problem is not only about our origin, it is about understanding our place in a world that seems at once both knowable and ineffable. In this chapter, we will embark on a journey to dissect the fissures and paradoxes within these perspectives. From the pretensions of paleoanthropological reconstructions to the poetic beauty of creationist tales, it explores their truths and failings. Let us cast a light into the shadows of the human story, not to divide, but to seek threads that may yet unite us.
Amen.
Checking back because that echoed something somebody had said in chat. I don't remember who it was, but precisely.
Hmm.
The debate rages not merely between, is that right? Yes. The debate ranges not merely between opposing viewpoints, but within the very hearts of those who dare to ponder it. Might these narratives, so divergent at first glance, hold within them reflections of a greater unified truth? The human problem is not only about our origin, it is about understanding our place in a world that seems at once both knowable and ineffable. Oh, yeah, I
You
already
you
read
already
that.
read that.
Sorry, guys. Okay. The missing link and the inconvenient fossil record. For all its claims of scientific rigor, paleoanthropology, meaning the study of ancient human origins, is riddled with mysteries and contentious gaps. Chief among them is the so called missing link, an elusive transitional fossil that should definitively connect ancient apes to modern humans. Yet, despite extensive searches and countless discoveries, this critical piece of the evolutionary puzzle remains conspicuously absent. What emerges instead is a fragmented narrative, one built upon isolated finds that often raise more questions than answers. Yeah, I like since you wrote this 16 years ago, not only have we not found the missing link, but we found human skulls in parts of the world we didn't think they should be that go back maybe a million years. It's like just blowing all this shit out of the water. Consider the case of Australopithecus afarensis, better known as Lucy. Discovered in 1974, Lucy's partial skeleton was hailed as a cornerstone of human evolution, celebrated as the bridge between ape and man. But even as her remains were meticulously reconstructed, questions lingered. Was Lucy truly bipedal, or did she merely possess an ape like gait? Were her adaptations signs of a direct ancestral lineage? Or did they represent a side branch of evolutionary experimentation? The answers remain elusive. mired in debates that continue to polarize the scientific community.
In here, I just want to say that what most people don't know about how these early hominids, as they want us to believe, were displayed, because Lucy is one of the most complete skeletons we have of Australopithecus afarensis. And she's called Lucy because the only song they had was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds that was playing over and over and over again in the dig. That's the only song they had. So they named her Lucy. But what they do to these skeletons, when they reconstruct them, they pull, you have to look at me to understand. So they pull the shoulders way up high to minimize how far the arms reach on the
Mm,
legs to
mm-hmm,
make them look more human,
mm-hmm.
because in reality they have their hands midway to their feet on the lower part of your leg, right? Moreover, these were creatures that were still climbing trees, so they are just a type of monkey that got extinct, all of them,
Yeah,
until we get to the points of Homo erectus, which is probably the first one. All of them, there's Eldenberg's is, and there's a few more, but until more or less that point, like around, I don't want to give a wrong date, between 3 and 1 million years ago,
yeah,
what we are finding that they are called hominids, like the Homo nadeli. Look, I look into that deeply, and Homo nadeli is a fucking small monkey. It's a very small monkey. It's smaller than your dog. And they want us to believe that some scattered bones and some marks on the rock that were clearly done by older hominids or hominids that had what they call the Homo nadeli as pets
yeah.
on the cave, which is probably the most assertive answer to this conundrum, is that those animals were their pets. That's why they are with them on the cave, right?
Yep,
And the marks on
makes
the
sense.
wall, they're made by, we see those marks everywhere around the globe around the same time.
Yeah,
They're not exclusive to that cave. How can you say that it was Almonadeli, a small goddamn monkey, that did that? Right? They just keep pushing this materialistic view that we are
yes,
nothing more than machines and we are nothing
yes.
more than whatever we've been talking here. So sorry,
It's
I just
so
wanted to
true.
put that rant out. It's because they deform the
They need us
skeletons.
to be just machines that came from monkeys so they can keep raping us, eating our babies, and taking us to war and doing whatever they want to us, y'all. It's pretty simple. Rue, I believe a better way to look at it as to separate out faith. Then you have creationism, evolution, and faith. Faith greatly affects how we see the other two. Mm, I'm just going to say that we should look at this stuff differently. At the moment, we talk about creationism versus evolution. I don't believe that's the correct way. Well, that's kind of the point of the book, Rue. I mean, that's kind of that's what we're reading, is that it shouldn't be this way, but we have to work with the paradigms that exist. In this world, there's creationists and there's evolutionists, and hardly ever the twain meet. And part of that's the problem. I agree with you there, and that's sort of what the book's getting at,
Yeah,
I
I
would
think that's
say.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we are talking about. Because if you
Precisely.
take,
Yeah.
if what you're meaning, which I don't think it is we have to take creationism and evolution out of the plate, so what are we left with? These are
Right.
the two fields that bring the spiritual and the mechanical together, because there's no doubt there's some mechanistic body in us, in animals, because it's no different from AIs that we are speaking today. The difference is we are biological and they are silica,
Yeah.
right? But we are trying to build them. We are trying to give them awareness, and if they gain awareness, then they have some sort of consciousness, right? And if animistic views are correct, then even the materials they are done of have their own type of consciousness. So when enough of them aggregate, they might become aware, right? And if you think about it, that's what they're doing. They're giving it more memory, more capacity of reasoning. They're trying to simulate the miracle that is the brain in terms of connectivity, right?
Hmm.
So I don't see, if we take those two out, we are left with nothing. Create a new one that will even complicate more things than they already are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about unification. Honestly, I think is that's the way it's always been in my head.
One
I
admires the miracle and the other one tries to explain it. That's
right,
all. But it's a miracle just the same. Just because in fact we can explain part of it doesn't mean that it's then not miraculous, because it is,
right,
right?
right. Okay, we just finished with Lucy. Compounding the issue is the role of artistic interpretation in paleoanthropology. Skeletons, often incomplete and weathered by time, are reimagined with startling precision. Missing fragments are filled in, not with certainty, but with conjecture. Flesh and features are sculpted onto bare bones, transforming indistinct remains into almost human visages. The public, captivated by these lifelike recreations, is rarely privy to the speculative nature of such reconstructions. The narrative of evolution, presented with such conviction, is often less a reflection of empirical truth and more a mosaic of informed guesses and creative liberties. The problem is not merely one of science, but of perception. These reconstructions, displayed in museums and textbooks, create an illusion of continuity. They whisper of a linear progression from primitive to advanced, from ape to human. Yet, the fossil record tells a much more chaotic story. It speaks of species that appeared and vanish, of evolutionary dead ends, and of the persistent absence of that singular, unequivocal connection between past and present. In this light, the gaps in the fossil record become more than mere absences. They are chasms that challenge the narrative itself. Evolutionists argue that these voids are the result of time's relentless erosion and the rarity of fossilization. Creationists, however, see them as evidence of a flawed theory, a sign that humanity's origins lie not in the random processes of nature, but in the deliberate act of a creator. Both views, though starkly opposed, highlight the enigma at the heart of the human story. Whether seen as a testament to the incomplete understanding of science or as a vindication of divine design, the missing link or its absence remains a profound symbol of our quest to know ourselves. The quest for the missing link. Sorry, my screen farted. Oh, come
No
back.
problem. I'll take the opportunity to answer Ro. Yes, I agree. We must remove faith when faith is related to written scripture that diverges from what we are actually seeing, experiencing, and it's part of our knowledge. So, if that faith becomes a dogma, it's no different than science.
Right.
But if that faith is but a belief that is personal, it's not transmittable to any other person because everyone has a different experience in that regard, then we should all have one because that's the richness of it. But if we are trying to use that faith to explain the things that we are talking about, then although it might be correct, it comes from a dogmatic point of view because faith tends to be unshakable, right? And exactly as science. So if faith here is the face of intelligent design, but we are not trying to explain what that intelligent design actually is, right? It's something each one of us will feel, will experience, will understand its own way, then yeah, I agree with you. But I think faith is fundamental to every single human being. A faithless person
Yeah. Yeah, faith is a
is
word, and we got to talk about what are we describing with that word, right? Because you might, when you say faith, you might have grown up in a Christian church that hated gay people, and you might be gay, and so you go, faith is terrible, right? But you're not saying faith is terrible. You're saying the assholes who had a fucked up view of reality and hurt you are terrible, right? So it's really when you use that word faith, man, you can't just kind of like throw it out there and go, "Oh, we can't have faith," right? Because what are you talking about, right? That's That's
Materialism is a faith.
it is precisely. Materialism is a faith. You've got a faith,
Catholicism is a faith.
faith,
So,
right?
so
And it's got all these dogmas to it. Dogma is problematic. You can use that word over faith, right? Dogma is where you get to being in those rooms where they hate you because you like boys or whatever. You know what I mean? All of that bad shit that people sometimes mean when they say faith, right? But all you're talking about there is some human beings with some fucked up perceptions and some hate in their heart, right? That's not faith, right? So separating faith is, I mean, I know what you're trying to say, but you got to fucking tell me what you mean by that word, right? Okay. Cause yeah. I mean, my experience with it was this, Rue, right? I found absolute contact with, use whatever words you want, spiritual, whatever, things that you can't see with your fucking eyes, right? I connected. I talked to them daily. Everything I have found that science and archaeology has been looking for forever and been unable to find. Mabilla, the proof of the antediluvian civilizations, no matter what you believe on it, here in a few years, you'll see it's what I found, right? But now here's the thing, dude. The only way I did all of that inside of a year and a half is because I was being led by those that are real, but that we can't see with our eyes. Jason didn't just go find this shit. That's, why I'm Shaman 711. I never once said, "Ooh, I went out and found all this by myself." No, from day one, I've told you I was led to these things, right? Now, that's my experience, right? Sure thing. But once you see the totality of what all I have found in this very short period of time, you will be faced with either saying, this dude just by chance happened to put all this together, or the only way it played out is the way he's saying it played out, is that he didn't find it all, because it's impossible for one man to find everything I found by himself. But I did it by myself without any other humans, but with an absolute reality that was telling me step by step what to do. Now, is that faith? It's not faith anymore for me, bro, because it talked, it told me where to look, and I went there and it was there, right? So that's not faith. So that's what I mean by we got to get specific when you're talking about trying to, what we're trying to do is bridge these two, man, and to bring total awareness and proof of the reality of these existences, of these things that exist beyond our limited senses, you know and yeah, that's why that faith word is kind of like both views, though. Okay, in contrast to the scientific quest for what.
yeah, it's just pagan.
Semantics. I know, man. But, look, all we have is words at the end of the day. And what I always like to say is this, so I don't get caught up on words, So that's why Ricardo and I can get along so well. And all these people that have different opinions, how you get along with them is you start to realize that there is a reality. And then there are our words that we attempt to use to describe it, right? The reality exists without the words, right? We don't bring it into being with our words. But the word I use might be different from the word you use, but we might be saying the same thing. And that's what I try to always remember, in these
The best
conversations.
example is, what does an apple taste like?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's an excellent
Because
example. You could sit here and try to tell you, or you could just throw you a fucking apple. There, eat
that's
it.
what
It's
it
like
tastes
that.
like to you. Mine is similar, but not exactly the same thing.
Let's just both enjoy it. It's here either way. In contrast to the scientific quest for tangible evidence, creationism offers a different lens through which to view human origins, and where the narrative is not of chance and mutation, but of divine intent and purpose. Here we turn the geological layers to the spiritual layers, where every human life is seen not as a product of evolutionary randomness, but as a deliberate act of creation. Creationism's firm anchors in faith. Oh, there's your word, Drew.
Yeah.
While evolution anchors itself in the empirical and observable, creationism draws its strength from the realms of scripture, faith, and divine purpose. For creationists, the origin of humanity are neither accidental nor devoid of meaning. They are acts of deliberate will. Sacred texts from the Bible's Genesis to the cosmologies of all ancient cultures frame humanity as the crown jewel of creation, a being forged in the image of its creator. The biblical narrative is perhaps the most well known account. In it, God fashions Adam from the earth, breathes life into his form, setting him apart as a unique entity endowed with a soul. Eve, formed from Adam's rib, completes the union of humanity, symbolizing not just the origin of life, but the interdependence of its forms. Creationists argue that this portrayal is more than allegory, it is a testament to humanity's divine ancestry and intrinsic worth. Yeah, you see it all over the world. South America, men came from corn or whatever. There's always this that element, of but and people get way too hung up on going, "Oh, you believe we came from dust? You believe I came from a rib?" Like, no, motherfucker. Like nobody is saying that, right? What we're saying is that a creator created you,
Yeah,
right?
but we are all
Through
stardust.
processes.
That's why
Yes.
the
The
book
book
is
is
called
called. Yeah.
Stardust, because we all come from stardust.
Exactly. All matter. All matter.
So it is a miracle that some things are dust and other things are stars and other things are us. So it's all made by the same material. It all comes from what is produced on stars. Who arranged it? Who organized it? Who makes it aggregate?
Yep.
Science will never get there
No.
because they call it chaos and they don't care about it. So the mechanics of it, they will never find it because it's just chaos.
Yeah.
It's just like they watch it quantum and they reach the level and they say, "Oh, can't get bothered. I can't see anything else from this point on."
Except, wait a
Sometimes it's
minute.
one thing, other times it's
When I'm
another.
watching it, it's something different than when I'm not watching it. So you're telling me the smallest level of matter has what? Consciousness.
It's like wave. It's a particle. No,
Wave
it's a
particle. Wave
wave. No,
particle.
it's a wave. No, it's
Which
a
are we going to
particle.
be? Well, is somebody looking at us? No. Okay, let's be a particle. Somebody's looking at us. Quick, wave. I mean, tell me how that happens by chance. You can't. And you just can't. You really can't. Critics, no. But the Bible's creation story is far from alone. Across the world, myths and legends echo similar themes. In Hindu cosmology, Brahma crafts humanity from his essence, embedding within them a spark of the divine. The Zulu believe that the first man, Unkulunkukulu, emerged from a reed, a narrative of emergence. Did I get it right? A narrative of emergence rather than random genesis. These tales, varied as they are, share a central theme. Humanity is not an accident, but a deliberate act of creation imbued with purpose and connected to the divine. Critics, particularly from the scientific community, often dismiss such accounts as untestable, arguing that they lack the empirical evidence required to validate them. Nevertheless, creationists counter that faith operates in realms where science cannot reach. They argue that not all truths are reducible to data, and that the very essence of existence, the why behind the what, lies beyond the grasp of material analysis. No doubt. By design, actually. Indeed, the strength of creationism lies in its capacity to address questions that science often avoids. Where evolution speaks of mechanisms, creationism speaks of meaning. Where natural selection describes the how, divine creation contemplates the why. To many, the spiritual dimension fills the existential void left by the cold mechanics of evolutionary theory. It offers not just an origin, but a destiny, not just a process, but a purpose. However, creationism is not without its flaws. It is often criticized for its reluctance to adapt or reinterpret its foundational texts in light of new knowledge. Not me. I'm happy to. That's what we're all about. That's what we're in the game of, y'all. This is about the evolution of thought and our perception of reality, right? That's what we're engaged in here. Can't help that everybody behind us wanted to find this divide. What we're engaged in is unifying and evolving the way we see the whole damn thing. However, okay, creation is not without its flaws. It's often criticized for its reluctance to adapt or reinterpret its foundational texts in light of new knowledge. The insistence on literal interpretations, particularly among young Earth creationists, has alienated potential allies who might see the divine hand working through evolution rather than against it. So true. This rigidity has allowed opponents to paint creationism as anti intellectual, a retreat into dogma rather than an exploration of truth. Still, for those who embrace it, creationism provides something that science cannot: a sense of belonging in a universe that often feels indifferent. It reminds humanity of its sacred role as stewards of the earth, as beings capable of communion with the divine. Absolutely. In this, it remains a potent counterbalance to the mechanistic narratives of modernity, a beacon for those seeking meaning in a sea of randomness. Science and myth, overlapping narratives. At first glance, science and myth appear to stand as irreconcilable opposites. Science demands evidence and thrives on skepticism, whereas myth flourishes in the realm of imagination, offering narratives imbued with symbolism and metaphor. Yet, when viewed from a broader perspective, the boundaries between these two realms blur, revealing unexpected intersections that illuminate the human experience. Although originating in two different paths, both science and myth seek to explain the world, albeit in different ways. Science dissects reality, breaking it into its smallest components to uncover the mechanisms that drive existence. Myth, on the other hand, weaves these mechanisms into a cohesive story, assigning meaning to the inexplicable. Together, they form a complementary tapestry in it where science provides the how and this myth offers the why. Consider the archetypal flood myths found in cultures all across the globe. From the Mesopotamian story of Untanapishtim to the biblical tale of Noah, these narratives share striking similarities. They describe cataclysmic deluges that cleanse the world, resetting the balance between humanity and the divine. Modern geology and archaeology have unearthed evidence of ancient floods, lending credence to these myths as reflections of real events. In this way, science validates the historic kernel within the metaphorical shell of myth. Similarly, the evolutionary tree, with its branching diagram of life's interconnectedness, mirrors the world tree motif found in many ancient traditions, from Yggdrasil in Norse mythology to the Ashvatthana tree in Hindu cosmology. These sacred trees symbolize the unity of life, connecting the heavens, earth, and the underworld. The parallels between these metaphors and scientific models hint at a shared intuition about the structure of existence, suggesting that myth and science may spring from the very same well of human understanding. This overlap extends to questions of origin. While evolutionists trace humanity's lineage through a chain of ancestral species, creation myths speak of humans emerging from divine acts. Both narratives grapple with the mystery of beginnings, each striving to answer the profound question, where do we come from? Rather than dismissing one as fanciful and the other as sterile, we might view them as complementary perspectives. One rooted in empirical observation, the other in existential inquiry. Such a synthesis does not come without challenges. The scientific community often resists interpretation that invoke spirituality or metaphysics, fearing a dilution of rigor. Likewise, creationists may view attempts to harmonize their beliefs with science as a betrayal of sacred truths. Yet, within this tension lies an opportunity to bridge the divide and forge a more holistic understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. Ultimately, the narratives of science and myth, though distinct, are united by a shared purpose to make sense of the incomprehensible. In their interplay, we find not contradiction, but resonance, a reminder that the search for truth is a multifaceted journey. By embracing both perspectives, we may uncover a richer, more nuanced vision of what it means to be human. 100%, bro. 100%.
Thank you.
Implications of each view on humanity. The narratives of creationism and evolution extend beyond questions of origin, shaping how humanity understands itself and its role in the cosmos. Each perspective carries profound implications that ripple through science, religion, culture, and individual identity, challenging us to consider what it means to be human. Heads itching. Sorry, y'all. From the evolutionary viewpoint, humanity is but one branch of a vast and intricate tree of life, a single thread woven into a sprawling biological tapestry. This interconnectedness fosters a sense of humanity, reminding us of our shared origin with all living things. Yet, it also imposes a certain existential weight. If life arose through random chance, then what intrinsic value does it hold? In this mechanistic framework, morality, purpose, and meaning are constructs, human inventions rather than universal truths. Such a worldview, while misleadingly liberating in its rejection of dogma, can leave one adrift, searching for significance in an indifferent universe. Creationism, by contrast, places humanity at the center of a divinely ordained narrative. It affirms the inherent worth of each individual, framing human life as sacred and purposeful. This belief imbues existence with moral clarity and spiritual direction, offering answers to questions that science simply leaves unresolved. Yet, the sense of cosmic importance comes with its own challenges. By elevating humanity above the natural world, creationism risks fostering a sense of separation rather than unity, potentially justifying environmental exploitation or disregarding the interconnectedness so evident in the evolutionary model. Yeah, I think that's true. That's definitely true. This there's something that also I think has been quite intentional that people, especially in the biblical type narrative, have fucked with, right? And you hit it right there. The this whole thing of we are above, it's all ours. We can do whatever we want to with it.
De
And
Soto
that's
is under that narrative.
exactly that's how you get fucking Hernando de Soto. That's its good link there, bro. He is a fine example of what you get when you take that viewpoint.
Everything
Um,
is ours for the taking
yeah,
because we are the chosen ones.
right. And instead, what should be more pointed to by these folks is that it's a responsibility right? It is an interconnectedness, and you, as the sort of highest form of consciousness on here, that puts you in charge of the whole zoo, right? Eh, to properly steward, protect, and live with, right? The second you start turning that into, oh, we can do whatever we want, you're fucked. And here comes the next flood. I promise you, that's how all the rest of them came, right? Was because humanity started going, we can do whatever the hell we want. We're the best. And God said,
Yeah,
no, wrong again.
because
Boom.
when it says go and name all the creatures, it doesn't mean you can do whatever you want with them.
Right,
it,
right,
it means they're yours to cherish, because we name the things we cherish. We don't name the things we don't care about, right?
right.
So by the effect of naming them, they were supposed to have a connection, right? It's like telling your children, you are Peter, you are Chris, you are Ferdinand, and so on and so forth. You only name things that you care about, right? Like
Right.
people that like their car so much, they give them a name, right?
Yeah.
That's an example, right?
I
So,
like personifying my cars myself.
and they have some kind of consciousness, especially the Italian ones, but let's
Dude,
not
I
go
know
there.
that I have been in far too many situations where my car should have done something that it did not do because I was talking to it nice and had the right music on. Hey, what did Hunter Thompson say about music? He said everything needs fuel and music is fuel.
It's
There are
fuel.
plenty of times I have been out of gas and should have stopped, but I turn on the right music and get another 10 miles. Absolutely. And this so yeah, I agree with you there that that is one of the downfalls that I just you always try to make it simple, bro. Like think about me and my dog, man. My it's a dog, right? It's supposedly not equal to me, right? But if I take time and I spend time with that dog, y'all should see me with my dog. I carry it around like we're fucking dating or something. We talk, we spend time together, we love each other, right? Now, just do that with the rest of the world, with every other thing that's not a human, right? It's that
There
easy.
is that is open to it.
Yes. Yeah, don't go loving on a shark. I mean, that doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah,
But
because
be nice to it and don't kill it. It didn't kill
you,
you.
I never forgot this story. This guy chained itself to a tree because that's the day where that company was going there to deforestate
Hmm.
the area, and
Hmm.
he chained himself to a tree. But the team that was going to cut the trees took 2 hours to get there. And when they got there, there was only pieces of him because the bear thought, "Oh, look, there's a snatch." And the guy was so tied up he couldn't escape.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
That's
beware on
hilarious.
choosing your fights, because
Right?
nature will take its course.
Of course. Of course, man. I mean,
The downfall of one is the blessing of another. Who knows? The bear might be starving at that point.
Exactly. Bear needed to eat, and that dude apparently was not happy in this planet and needed to move on to another one. So, win win. In this mechanistic framework, morality, purpose, and we did that. Creationism, no, we just did that. In practice, these worldviews shape societies in tangible ways. The scientific lens has driven technological progress, revolutionizing medicine, agriculture, and industry. It encourages critical thinking and empirical inquiry, equipping humanity to tackle complex global challenges. However, its reductionist tendencies can erode the spiritual and emotional dimensions of existence, creating a world that prioritizes efficiency over meaning. Conversely, creationist frameworks often emphasize community, tradition, and ethical stewardship, offering a counterbalance to the atomization of modern life. They remind us of the power of story and the need for connection to each other, to the divine, and to the earth itself. Yet, When taken to extremes, these narratives can resist change, stifling innovation and perpetuating dogmas that hinder social and scientific progress. Indeed.
That's for you, Ro.
The challenge lies. It's like, why you even ask questions, guys? He's going to get to it. It just let us keep reading. He's going to cover it. The challenge lies in navigating these dualities. Can we integrate the insights of science with the wisdom of spiritual traditions? Can we balance the humility of our evolutionary heritage with the dignity of our divine potential? Perhaps the answer lies not in choosing one over the other, but in recognizing the value of both, allowing them to inform and enrich one another. In the end, the implications of these perspectives on humanity reflect the complexity of existence itself. They remind us that we are at once physical and metaphysical beings, creatures of the earth and seekers of the stars. That's a good phrase. By embracing this duality, we may find a path that honors both our origins and our aspirations, weaving a narrative that speaks to the fullness of what it means to be human. Reconciling Opposites, a call for multidisciplinary exploration. Take a sip. New section. The clash between creationism and evolution has long been framed as a zero sum game, a battleground where one must triumph and the other must fail. Yet, this polarized narrative ignores a profound opportunity, the possibility of synthesis. By embracing a multidisciplinary approach, we can transcend the limitations of each perspective and arrive at a more holistic understanding of humanity's origins and purpose. Science, with its relentless pursuit of empirical truth, offers unparalleled insights into the mechanisms of existence. Through the lens of biology, chemistry, and physics, it uncovers the intricate processes that govern life in the universe. Unfortunately, it falls short in its focus on the how. Thus, science often leaves the why unanswered. It dissects reality but struggles to imbue it with meaning. This is where the spiritual and philosophical dimensions of creationism can offer invaluable contributions. Creationism, for its part, excels in addressing the existential questions that science leaves untouched. It provides a framework for understanding purpose, morality, and the human connection to something greater than ourselves. Yet, when divorced from empirical inquiry, it risks stagnation, clinging to belief, dogmas that hinder intellectual progress. By integrating scientific discoveries with spiritual wisdom, we can breathe new life into both narratives, transforming them from competing ideologies into complementary pillars of understanding. This synthesis is not without precedent. Throughout history, some of humanity's greatest thinkers have bridged the gap between science and spirituality. Figures like Galileo, Newton, and Einstein sought to understand the cosmos while grappling with its deeper significance. Their work reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge need not come at the expense of wonder, and that reason and faith can coexist in a dynamic interplay. I hate to keep stopping us, but this is another great point, man. The expense of wonder, the
Hmm.
expense of curiosity, the expense of awe at simply existence. You see it so much in this unfortunate battle that at the institute we've seen our fair share of between sort of academics and independent researchers. It is much like this battle you're describing. It is such a waste, right? And it's so unfortunate that it exists. It really is, guys. I like what you're doing here a lot, man. I'm sorry I keep stopping, but you're making great
No, no,
points.
keep
I mean,
perfect.
you meet so many of these people, man, and they want to, as soon as you want to start talking to them about wonder, bro, it's like they can't comprehend it. It's like they're so drilled into that mechanistic materialist view that, like, all wonder is gone. I mean, and you wonder why some of these people are so like mean spirited and fucking ego driven, and they show all these characteristics online that you're just like, what is that? I would not let my kids act that way in public. And these are like grown leaders and adults. And it comes from that drive that keeps them in this materialistic viewpoint, man. Good
Yeah,
stuff here.
we have to understand that some of the hardcore materialists, contrary to the rest of the population, even if faced with something, let's imagine it extreme, like a ghost, right? They will not believe it because it's not possible,
Right,
because it doesn't fit,
right.
right? And they would stand to their death with the
Yes,
belief that what they saw isn't real,
yes.
right? So,
That's exactly it, man. They will deny their own observations
yes, their own experience.
because they don't fit. They don't fit with my idea of things, you know? It's silly. It's what it is. I'm glad you're addressing it so well here. Practically, this multidisciplinary exploration requires open mindedness and collaboration. It calls for scientists willing to engage with metaphysical questions and for theologians who embrace the insights of empirical research. It demands educators who teach not only facts, but also the skills to navigate ambiguity and complexity. Most importantly, it invites individuals to hold space for paradox, recognizing that truth often resides, in the tension between opposites. Yes. By reconciling the narratives of creationism and evolution, we can construct a richer, more inclusive story of humanity, a story that acknowledges our biological heritage while celebrating our spiritual aspirations, honoring both the material and the metaphysical, the rational and the poetic. In doing so, it offers a vision of human existence that is as expansive as the cosmos and as intimate as the soul. Ultimately, the call for multidisciplinary exploration is a call to embrace the fullness of what it means to be human. It is an invitation to move beyond division and toward integration, to seek not only knowledge, but also wisdom. In this pursuit, we may find that the journey itself is as important, if not more, than the destination, and that the questions we ask are as illuminating as the answers we discover. Fucking amen, bro. This is a good chapter.
That's the end of it.
No. New section: The Human Enigma, Beyond Action and Reaction. We're getting there. We're almost to page 8 out of 10.
Hmm.
Amidst the animal kingdom, humans stand apart, an anomaly not only in terms of intellect, but in our very relationship with the natural world. While other creatures thrive within specific ecosystems seamlessly adapted to their environments, humanity is a species that fits nowhere and yet claims dominion everywhere. They build, shape, and alter landscapes to suit their needs, an act unparalleled among Earth's inhabitants. This distinction raises a profound question: why is there only one species like us? Well, there was more. Denisovans, all kinds of shit running around this planet, man. Morphologically, humans share much with the great apes: opposable thumbs, upright posture, and complex social structures. Yet these similarities obscure a vast chasm of differences. Our capacity for abstract thought, Self awareness and the ability to imagine futures beyond immediate survival sets us apart in ways that science struggles to explain. Why has no other species crossed this threshold? Why is humanity alone in its ability to transcend action and reaction, entering realms of creativity, morality, and existential reflection? These questions have long puzzled scientists and philosophers alike. Darwinian evolution provides an account of gradual adaptations shaped by natural selection, yet it offers no satisfying explanation for the singular leap that gave rise to human consciousness. If survival and reproduction are the ultimate goals of evolution, then why develop capacities that extend so far beyond these necessities?
And one
Why?
of them might be, I don't want to reproduce.
Right. I mean,
I don't. Some say I don't want to
why? Boom,
survive.
you just hit it. Why would evolution evolve an ability to not evolve?
To say no.
No, I don't want it. Yes, very good point, man. These, where were we?
It's like, look, you seeing that bison? He looks really sad. He's going to the cliff. He's going to kill himself. It doesn't happen.
Right. Look at that bison over there putting money away for his kids' college. He's looking at the future, man. Look at that. As biologist Michael Denton, a proponent of intelligent design, argues, the emergence of man was an event that can only be described as an uncanny and monumental discontinuity, an event which shattered the concept of a continuum in biological nature. In the depths of our quest for understanding, we find ourselves confronted with a profound paradox that transcends both theological simplicity and scientific determinism. The human story, as it unfolds across the tapestry of Earth's history, reveals patterns that defy conventional explanation. Consider the remarkable diversity of human forms that once walked this planet, from the diminutive Homo florensis, little hobbits, barely reaching modern waist height, to the robust Neanderthals who carved out existence in Ice Age Europe. This extraordinary variation in human morphology suggests not a linear progression, but rather a rich tapestry of concurrent development that challenges our fundamental understanding of evolution. The conventional narrative of gradual adaptation falls short when confronted with the simultaneous emergence of these distinct hominid forms. Each possessed unique adaptations and cognitive abilities, yet all shared that ineffable spark of consciousness that separates them from the purely instinctual realm of other beings. This parallel development suggests an underlying pattern that transcends mere biological opportunism. It's an excellent point worth echoing. So much of the narrative wants to tell us that Neanderthals were, just fucking hitting themselves and happened upon fire. They had art, they had jewelry, they had
They had
music,
boats.
they had boats. Denisovans, y'all, have y'all seen that jewelry the Denisovans made? Fucking fine little jewels out of stone that grip on your wrist. Very
They were
artistic.
sailing 600 kilometers
Right,
on the Mediterranean. That's
right,
one of the things we found recently. So who knows where else they went? So
right.
they had boats.
It's a very important piece of this puzzle. We like to isolate humanity and go,
and
where
and
the
they and
but
they
look at
not
all
they
these cats.
and they do not come one after the other like
Right,
evolution. They are
right.
coexistent.
Yep, yep.
I even defend that Homo erectus was still in existence in the West Sahara, in the Fayum area, when the Romans were already in existence. It was the garments that killed the last remain of them. Not all, but the others starved because their environment was getting smaller and smaller,
Right.
right? And they had amazing art.
Yeah.
They had they had these caves when the Sahara was watered. They had this cave full of water. They have paintings on the walls of what today is called the mural, swimming mural, because they are describing themselves jumping into the water, swimming in the water, right? Very richly drawn. And these were Homo erectus.
Yeah.
So they are all living with each other. But I think we'll see more of that ahead.
Yeah, well, we've all got Neanderthal DNA running around us.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And some unexplained. I know as a fact
Mm-hmm.
of a recent DNA test done in Switzerland on one of
Mm-hmm.
the finest labs. It's not the 21andMe, it's actually a DNA test.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy got a very small percentage, but it's not 0 point, it's above that,
Mm-hmm.
that it says unknown.
I like that. I like that.
So,
Oh, Steve said you didn't press the button when you said they had boats. Neanderthals had boats. You got to give the girls a shout out. Universe unveiled. We had
now
boats,
that I
y'all.
made everybody deaf with the sound.
The conventional narrative of gradual adaptation falls short when confronted with the simultaneous emergence of these distinct hominid forms. Each possessed unique adaptations and cognitive abilities, yet all shared that ineffable spark of consciousness that separates them from the purely instinctual realm of other beings. This parallel development suggests an underlying pattern that transcends mere biological opportunism. Perhaps most intriguing is the question of why these various forms of humanity emerged in such rapid succession during a relatively brief window of Earth's history. The temporal clustering of these developments hints at something more profound than random mutation and natural selection, a cosmic algorithm, perhaps, or a fundamental principle of consciousness manifestation that we have yet to fully grasp. Our ancestors, be they Denisovan, Neanderthal, or early Homo sapiens, left behind not just fossils, but evidence of spiritual awareness, artistic expression, and technological innovation. This universal emergence of consciousness across different human forms suggests a deeper pattern at work, one that operates beyond the conventional boundaries of evolutionary theory or religious doctrine. It's true. As we stand at the threshold of new discoveries in human origins, we must embrace the possibility that our emergence as a species in all its varied forms represents not a simple chain of cause and effect, but rather a manifestation of something more profound, a cosmic principle of consciousness that found multiple expressions through the vehicle of human form. In this light, the human enigma becomes not a puzzle to be solved, but a mystery to be embraced, a testament to the extraordinary complexity of life itself. There's a conscious life form right there with
Mhm.
four legs.
Mhm.
What you doing, buddy? What you doing? Say, I got consciousness. I sure do. I'll swim across rivers
Mhm.
and play and laugh and hug and kiss and jump by chance. Jacob, they want you to Jacob's like, no, fuck that. I know where I'm from. Humans are stupid.
Not me, dude.
I mean, dude, I don't listen to your human bullshit. I know what's up.
If you only knew.
Right? He's sitting there going, just wait, just wait. You know how much I can see? Now you know I'm always barking at that shit behind you. You can't see it, but I'm
It's
guarding you.
like,
All right.
God damn, you are all so retarded. You are still discussing these matters. We
You're
already figured it
still
out so long ago.
exactly. Like, man, you know how many humans I was? Now I'm in this body. Y'all just have no idea, dude. Quit being silly. I'm trying to tell them for you, Jacob. I'll tell them. Chill out, buddy. They know they're silly. As we stand at the threshold of new discoveries in human origins, we must embrace the possibility that our emergence as a species, in all its varied forms, represents not a simple chain of cause and effect, but rather a manifestation of something more profound, a cosmic principle of consciousness that found multiple expressions through the vehicle of human form. In this light, the human enigma becomes not a puzzle to be solved, but a mystery to be embraced, a testament to the extraordinary complexity of existence itself. The conclusion.
Let me just say to Rue that I think, although I am learning from his messages, and I think he's a little bit missing the point. Because it doesn't matter if it was created 50,000, 100,000, 300,000, or a million years ago. The same exact thing applies.
Yeah,
So
it
the
doesn't
fact
matter
that new
what.
discoveries have been made in the last 16 years since this was written, it doesn't change because I'm
It
not giving any
further validates what
specifics.
you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
It just keeps pushing the time we've
the
been here
boundaries back.
back,
Yeah,
and the amount of different types of humans keep growing. You
true.
know, it's all just expounding upon what was written here. Yeah.
It's humanity, civilization, catastrophe, humanity, civilization, catastrophe, and that's the cycle. Who knows what we've been before?
A fucking lot. That's all I know. A lot. A lot more than they want you to
Well,
believe.
we weren't using computers. That's one of the things that I
No.
think I'm sure.
We got this. We leaned into the stuff inside us and this connection you're always talking about in here. We leaned into, well, the shamanistic or the animistic, whichever word you want to use, approach to things rather than this got to be hard
Panspirliatic.
material things, right? Look at, man, how much of this world we have fucking destroyed to create these little cell phones, right? Think about the extraction all over the earth and the humans that die making them, the sweatshops and all that to get this little device that lets me talk to you and share knowledge across the world, right? Okay, well, I'm here to tell y'all we can do all that without that phone, right? And that's what prior civilizations have leaned into. Conclusion. In the intricate tapestry of human origins, we encounter a pattern that speaks of purpose and design. Yeah, in case I hadn't told y'all before, telepathy's real. I'll tell you the stories one day, but all of that shit's real. In the intricate tapestry of human origins, we encounter a pattern that speaks of purpose and design, where each variant of Homo appears crafted for specific roles within Earth's diverse landscape. Like instruments in a cosmic orchestra, each form brought its own unique contribution to the symphony of human evolution. Consider the robust frame of Homo neanderthalensis, perfectly adapted for the harsh climates of Ice Age Europe. Their powerful bodies and enhanced thermal efficiency suggesting deliberate adaptation to cold environments. In contrast, the diminutive Homo florensis, with their small stature and agile forms, seem purposefully designed for the island environments they inhabit, moving efficiently through dense forests and utilizing limited resources with remarkable efficiency. Yet, perhaps most remarkable is Homo sapiens' unique capacity to serve as a genetic crucible, a living synthesis of these diverse human forms. That's true. The evidence of interbreeding between different human species reveals not just compatibility, but a deeper design principle at work. Modern humans carry within their genome the echoes of Neanderthal strength, Denisovan adaptation to high altitudes, and potentially other yet undiscovered human variants. This genetic plasticity suggests that Homo sapiens were perhaps designed as the ultimate integrator, capable of incorporating beneficial traits from all human forms into a single, highly adaptable species. That's good stuff there too, bro. The archaeological record reveals shared living spaces and evidence of
Just wait
cooperation.
a second, because Roe is saying that it doesn't. It does it. So it's contradicting what we're saying. I'm going to put it on screen again. It says it's meaningful because man is no longer a singular event. It's now being discovered that he is the latest stage in a change of events, not
Yeah,
so
aren't you
unique.
listening to what we're
I,
saying?
I no, I fully disagree. There is no science whatsoever. I would love you to send me the papers that prove beyond doubt that we came from monkeys. It doesn't exist.
Right.
We are animals, and we have what we can call proto humans or humans, but they were just like us. They were not
Right.
stupid people, they were reasonable. You have today people that have 800 centimeters, cubic centimeters of brain capacity, and they are just as intelligent as we are. Because it isn't a matter of how big your radio is, it's just a matter that you can do what you are supposed to do.
Yeah.
And if you can operate your body and still use your brain as the antenna to your real self, it doesn't matter the size. You have, in fact, if you go by that, then Cro Magnon should be the ones that will be here because they had
Right.
1400 centimeter cubic
Right.
of
Bigger
brain. So they,
brain, bigger everything. Could kill us and
so
eat us with ease.
why aren't there
Why aren't
Cro
they here?
Magnon? So I'm sorry, bro, but in that I disagree with you. Man is still a singular event that has no parallel whatsoever in nature.
Yeah.
So, and that's my perspective. I might be wrong, obviously, but if you want to call it, that's my fate at this moment. But my fate is interchangeable. It's moldable if new evidence comes that
Right.
makes me think that I'm wrong. But so far, nothing has appeared that make me think that I'm wrong.
Yeah, it just keeps adding color to what we already know. Sorry, let me find my paragraph. Is that
Yeah, and Scribe is absolutely correct. If evolution was real, then why aren't different types of monkeys that evolved into humans? Why haven't bonobos that are so evolved? Bonobos, after we teach them, they can make fire, they can play computer games, they can learn gestural language with ease, they can solve puzzles, but they are not humans.
but they don't evolve
They,
into
they
anything
don't they
bigger
can't
than
do it
that.
by themselves. They have to be taught to do tricks.
Right. Right.
It doesn't matter that I'm not saying that they are not aware, but their awareness has a limitation.
It just like I can teach Jacob to sit, but he's sure shit not going to start doing math and asking me about the meaning of life. But he can
It's
sit on command, so he can, it's that's
and
kind of what you're
and
saying.
he can choose if it sits or not.
Yeah. But if he wants a treat, he knows his ass better sit, and he likes treats, so it works. Just like with the monkeys. Want a banana? Here, you got to understand sign language first. And they're like, fuck you. What? Give me food. Okay. In this light, let's see, is that it? Yes, because we just talked about the interbreeding. The archaeological record reveals shared living spaces and evidence of cooperation between different human species, particularly between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. These weren't merely chance encounters, but sustained periods of coexistence that resulted in cultural exchange and genetic mixing. This pattern of what cartoon always pops in my head when we're talking about this? All right, so in that moment where we go from monkeys to humans, that means at some point a bunch of dudes were sitting around and one of them went, "Man, screw it. I'm still gonna go over here and fuck this monkey."
The thing is, and Ro, I'm very glad that you see it that way because that's how I see it. We agree to disagree, and maybe someday one of us will be shown right or wrong. But the thing is, all these proto humans like Australopithecus afarensis and several others, they were still walking on four legs. They could straighten themselves up, but so can a gorilla, and much more like that a bonobo that can walk upright, although its hip It's not built for
But they
that.
move a lot damn faster when they use all fours.
Sure. The thing is, they are, if we forbid them to walk on fours and force them to walk on two, they will not adapt it even after 50 generations because they are not built to be like that.
Right.
Unless some of them had a mutation that turns the hip up, they are not made for that. They are a different type of creature. They are not Homo type. And that's my perspective, no matter what science tries to build their skeleton. I think you should, uh, not in a presumptuous way, I'm just saying to broaden your views. If you haven't, you should see the presentations of Lloyd Pye. He explains exactly the falsity that exists in how they build these skeletons up to make them look humans, because that's their objective. Because if they don't look human, they have no support for their career, so
Right.
they make them look as human as possible. Well, they build them up. They aren't. Sorry, you can carry on.
Oh, you're fine, man. That's
That's
what
a
we're doing.
19th century argument.
That's
Man
what we're doing
standing
here.
alone. Yes, okay.
Okay, but I mean,
I still love you, but
I,
I just don't agree with you on that.
yeah, I mean that's the name of the game of what we do here is agree to disagree and take all every comment you guys give, everything is contributing, right? It's
Sure.
all contributing to this conversation, to this
And
growth of
I would
understanding.
publish whatever he intends in this regard. I would publish it just the same.
Just the same, exactly, exactly.
People are free to take his part.
Yeah, I mean that's the name of the game here, guys. Is agreeing to disagree and grow together. This pattern of integration and synthesis appears too precisely orchestrated to be mere coincidence. It suggests a grand design where different human forms that were not meant to share tasks or spaces ended up to ultimately contribute to a more complete, more adaptable version of humanity. In this light, the human story becomes not one of random mutation and competitive replacement, but rather a carefully choreographed dance of development. You're so true. Just look at me at 6'5" and all skinny and lanky, and look at Joe Rogan, who's got like 10% Neanderthal. We're just, it's just made such a, we are so unique, man. And I like this idea of this crucible of differences you've made us out to be. It's very cool. The distinct forms appear less like competing species and more like, wait a minute. Each human variant brought its unique gifts to the table. The physical prowess of Neanderthals, the environmental adaptation of Denisovans, the innovative capacity of early Homo sapiens. These distinct forms appear less like competing species and more like specialized branches of some greater human project, each one ending up to contributing essential elements to our species' ultimate expression. This perspective transforms our understanding of human origins from a simple tree of evolution to something more akin to a grand tapestry where different threads of human development were woven together with apparent purpose and foresight. The result is modern humanity, a species that carries within its genes and cultural memory the combined wisdom and adaptations of multiple human forms, united into a single, remarkably versatile species capable of thriving in every environment Earth has to offer. In the grand tapestry of existence, where the threads of scientific inquiry interweave with the profound mysteries of consciousness, we find ourselves at a pivotal point of understanding. The materialistic paradigm of science, with its precise measurements and methodical observations, has illuminated countless aspects of our physical reality. It has somewhat decoded the language of DNA, mapped the migration of ancient peoples, and revealed the intricate dance of atoms that compromises our material world. Yet, in the realm of human origins, this purely mechanistic view encounters an inexplicable discontinuity. The emergence of the Homo lineage, with its remarkable diversity, purposeful specialization, unprecedented and unique cognitive abilities, stands as a testament to something beyond mere evolutionary processes. The precise adaptations of each human variant, their complementary nature, and their ultimate convergence in Homo sapiens speaks not of random mutation, but of deliberate design. The evidence before us suggests a profound truth that while natural selection and evolutionary processes certainly shaped the development of life on Earth, the human story requires an additional chapter, one that acknowledges direct intervention in our species' emergence. This is not to diminish the power and precision of scientific understanding, but rather to recognize its limitations in explaining the full scope of human existence. Consider how human variants appeared with fully formed capabilities, specialized adaptations, and distinct purposes, yet all shared that ineffable spark of consciousness that sets them apart from other beings. This pattern suggests not a gradual emergence through traditional evolutionary mechanisms, but rather a purposeful seeding of different human forms, each contributing unique elements to humanity's ultimate expression. As we stand on this threshold of understanding, we must embrace a more nuanced perspective, one that honors both the precision of scientific methodology and the reality of intervention in human origins. This synthesis offers a more complete framework for understanding the human species' remarkable journey, acknowledging both the measurable mechanisms of material existence and the profound mystery of its purposeful creation. In this light, the human story becomes not just a tale of biological development, but a testament to cosmic design, where the material precision of evolution meets the purposeful hand of intervention, creating a species capable of bridging the physical and the transcendent, the material and the divine. This understanding does not diminish scientific truth, but rather completes it, offering a more comprehensive explanation for the extraordinary phenomenon that is human existence. Bravo, bro.
Thank you.
That's an
So
excellent chapter. I got like
back,
chills, man. That's really good.
so back to Roe or Rue. It says that if I'll take the latest evidence of 400,000 year old structures, new species of humanoid related to us, the existence, Scheisse,
Scheiser.
the existence of a common ancestor for sapiens and Denisovan, I just can't claim uniqueness. I don't follow you again because that's what we've been saying. All of these different homo types that had
Right,
consciousness, art,
right.
creation, architecture, they are all part of this family.
And they have
That
all contributed to us. We are
to
walking
us,
around with their DNA. We are a part of these multi different species that go further back. They
that
all have pushed forward and contributed to you. You're unique ass, Rue. I don't care if you claim unique. I'm fucking telling you, you're unique. Trust me. You guys go talk to Rue. You'll see. He's pretty damn unique.
he's saying that man doesn't alone stand in history. Though I'm happy to say I don't believe Ramapithecus, bad spelling, probably, I don't know. Maybe it's right. Is our ancestor. Man doesn't stand alone in history. Of course it does. It just need to broaden what you call man. I'm calling man to every single homo type that had consciousness, that have heart, architecture,
Yes.
imagination, storytelling, mythology,
Yes.
that was capable of looking at the sky, and instead of just being bright lights that might be pretty to an animal, it started to imagine what is beyond them, how to go to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What created them, and
Yes.
there what created I, what created you, right? And that's what transcend, because if animals can do it, might be able to, but they can't communicate that to that, so to us, so it's the same thing that they don't,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I guess where I'm seeing is, look, it's one thing to look back at all these different versions of humanity as we are here and say, look, we're not unique. There was a bunch of different ones, but no, because they're not here any fucking more, right? The only thing that's left of them is in us. That makes us unique.
M-
That makes us the contribution and whole of all of these separate parts, right? You don't see Neanderthals walking around because they picked up a bunch of skills from Homo sapiens. No, no, you see us walking around, not them, and we carry parts of them in us, and it is expressed in the way our avatars look, the way your body looks, the way, all of that, and we have all of them within us. So I like this, Ricardo. It's painting. I mean, that's the only way I know to see it. These things aren't here
and
anymore, and we are, and they
there's
contributed to us.
there's
No
another
matter how
great
many more we find behind us, we still don't find any walking around now. So that means we are the unique expression of all of those things working up until this moment.
We are what they were, just
Yes.
in our times. And Roe make another good question, that is, if man was created, why is there more than one of them? That's very simple to answer, because if we are interpreting this from intelligent design perspective to all things, including man, and man being one of the ultimate expressions, if we can be as arrogant to say that, because why are we better than a flower that blooms into the sun? But that's more philosophical here. But the point is, every single one of them had a purpose. You have Homo florenses that dig tunnels. They were masters of tunneling, right? Why do we find tunnels with thousands of kilometers, tens of thousands of kilometers of ramifications that go all the way from um, Austria to the British Isles? They go under the goddamn what is today Doggerland,
Yeah.
and those tunnels are too small for us today. They were used and built by small creatures, right?
Yeah.
You still have many legends of the small people everywhere, including the Americas, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in Row, if you go to Australia, to the Dreamtime, you'll see that the Dreamtime clearly states that all of that has a meaning, has a reason. It's not random. It doesn't matter if we are giants and dwarfs, because every single one of them was created, from my perspective, with a function, with a purpose, with a finality.
Yeah.
So, and here we have to speculate a bit more, because if you remember your history, you'll see that men were ruled. First, they were free, megalithic culture. Then we were ruled by the gods that fucked it up, what we call the gods. Sorry, my pardon my French. And then we are ruled by the sons of the gods, and then there are rules by those that are anointed by the gods. So the gods are removing themselves. So if that is true, it was those gods that had a purpose for us. Maybe it's not an almighty, all love creature that created man. Maybe it's someone that had some intention of creating workers, slaves, sex partners. They might even be trying to perpetuate their species. And they created all these different beings, all of them with different functionalities. If I was to create an army, I would want an army of giants and Neanderthals, right? I wouldn't put the delicate Homo sapiens in it, because it would be crushed. So
Well, I loved that chapter, and I really I'm just honored to be here reading it, man.
no, thank you.
As is excellent. It's very much, Ricardo, things that I have felt and understood my whole life too, man. And it's been very frustrating to me, as many people in chat have pointed out. To watch this unnecessary war between these materialistic versus spiritual philosophies. When oh man, I'm just going to go back to the thing I always say, my universal truth that when the universe unveiled asked me for one of my truths. Change is the only constant, and of that, growth the only objective. That applies to what we're talking about here. It applies to your own existence. We've had a good chat today, man. I really
Yeah,
appreciate this,
and
guys.
bro, yes, they might not have created Middle Earth in the sense of creating the universe and the planets, but they might have terraformed the planet for their
I
own
didn't
needs.
know that, Scribed. Palantir was named after Tolkien's word, Palantir. That
Yeah,
is crystal balls. Yeah, Palantir is some messed up shit. That's all I know. I didn't know they owned Polymarket, man. Did you know they started Polymarket too? They are
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
You saw Klaus Schwab come out this week, the head of the WEF, saying, somebody bugged my office. I guarantee you who it was. Palantir. Seriously, dude, they said Peter Thiel has bugged every world leader from the president to must everybody. He has bugged everyone. Now just think about what kind of power that is, man.
Millionaires don't believe in woo woo, but billionaires do.
Exactly. Dude, what do you think Epstein was about? I mean, really, do you think that was just about some degenerate shit? No, that was about woo. That is about celebrating, sacrificing and worshiping and orientating yourself towards spiritual, right? Just the wrong side of it. Okay. Every bit of these elites, dude, they all know this shit is real. That's why they want to keep paying scientists to tell y'all it isn't. That is precisely why. Because if y'all start to realize it is, and all of y'all are good people, you're not going to use it to go rape and kill babies to Moloch, right? You're going to use that awareness to go, what? There's love. There's create. You're going to take all the good routes. And so you will fight all of these elites in control that are now using this spiritual knowledge. I promise you, go talk to any of them. They all believe in this shit that they don't want y'all to believe in. That is absolute truth. And I don't care what little arguments we want to get in or what little meanings of words we want to talk about. None of it matters considering the fact that all of these people that pay for all of the science and all of the TV stations and everything that goes into your head, they do not want you to believe what they believe. They do not want you to know about it.
I,
And that's just the truth. We can sit here down in the lower rungs and argue, or we can get our fucking shit together and we can start to realize what they believe and what we need to do to
if
counteract it. I'm done. Sorry, that just came
That's
out.
perfect, just perfect. Imagine it's exactly the same thing that is going today that it was going in the Aztecs when they were sacrificing people so that
Mm-hmm.
during the eclipse the sun reappeared again. If there
Mm-hmm.
was one of the good retards on the public on the agora, it wasn't called agora, but on the square, and start screaming, grab that guy, the sun will appear anyway, right?
Yep.
Because the the public didn't know. They had the knowledge, they knew astronomy, they knew
Yep.
perfectly well that if I'm shown that I'm the one because I have the power to do this sacrifice, that I'll bring the sun again, I'm a god amongst these people.
Yep.
So what you have with these elites is exactly the same thing. They're keeping this knowledge in a very narrow group of 20 families or whatever it is,
Yep.
around that number. They have this knowledge, and then they use this knowledge from the perspective of what we're talking about, the Soto. We
Yep.
are all indigenous to these people,
Yes.
and we
Exactly.
cannot learn the truth.
They're all DeSoto and we're all the natives. That is a very good way to put it.
Yeah,
Um,
we are all natives to these people, just people that are there to be exploited, used, chewed, and threw away. Because, well,
I like Scribe keeps bringing up Tolkien and his obsession with Atlantis. Yeah, most definitely, dude. I have long told anybody that would listen that Tolkien was more like a documentary than any fucking thing else. Of course, when you can see through, yes, the allegory or whatever, but absolutely, man, I love Tolkien for that. I didn't even know he was obsessed with Atlantis. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Of course, it's obvious now, now that you mention it, but I have always said that's exactly what he was harping on. He was harping on our real story here on Earth.
sure. So, do you can't remember the dream?
Do what?
The dream,
What dream?
the dream in Tolkien, in Lord of the Rings. I dreamed of a great wave that came above the land and took
Yes.
everything with it, and this island was gone. So
Yeah.
these are the great men, the first men,
Yeah.
the Numenorians.
Yep.
They were on an island that was taken by water because the Ainur, or in
Hmm.
this case Anu, would send the ocean to demolish the city and take their arrogance. Well, that's exactly
Yeah.
the story that was told to Solon the Elder by Sonsis of Sais in Egypt. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Was this land America? Was this land the what is today just the top of the mountains that is Azores? We don't know.
I
But
think we miss a lot of the point by considering Atlantis a city. I'm very thankful for all of these stories about Atlantis and all that come to us through Plato, but I think we miss the point a little bit. I think it was for sure global, right?
oh yes,
Most
they had ports everywhere. All of
everywhere.
these people saying, "Oh, we find Atlantis in Africa. Oh, we find Atlantis in the Fiji. Oh, we find it." It's all ports.
Rue, they had faith that the sacrifice was necessary because the fucking piece of shit elites in control told them it was.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. This has been a good episode, man.
Yeah. Good engagement. That's what we are here for.
That's honestly what we're here for, guys. And
In
and
fact, I'm a bit, if I'm honest, I'm a bit glad that not everybody is as uh, uh, how to say it in English, forward speaking as Rue, because we wouldn't have time
we'd
to be
never get
talking
any.
to
I know.
everybody. But
Hey, look, we've already been here for 3 hours because we forgot about our first
yeah.
botched half hour. So I mean, we will do this as long as as long as it's contributing to growth, right? Because that's all we're about. That's all I'm about in my life. Um, you guys that know any of my personal story know that I do my best to embody change is the only constant, growth the only objective, and that's really what we're all about here. And guys, I really I can't thank all of you in the chat enough, whether we agree or disagree or whatever it
Mm.
is. Every single comment, I've been good today watching. Every single one has added to
Learning,
this.
learning.
Yes, yes, that's exactly it. Okay, man.
Okay.
You want to you
Next chapter will be also interest. At least to me, is one of my favorite topics. It's catastrophism versus uniformitarianism.
one of my
So
favorite topics too.
yeah.
I like all these topics, dude. It is no wonder or no accident or no coincidence that you and I met each other and started to work together. It is if you don't believe in divine design, just come listen about how these two people bumped into each other. You know,
Well,
totally random.
the divine design has many roads, but the fact that we found each other and doing what we do
Yeah.
on screen and off screen,
Yes.
together and independently,
Yes.
shows that some of the roads we took were not that bad.
Right. It's all about, man. I love those side roads that tend to go nowhere, because once you get a couple of years down, you look back and go, "Oh no, that went right here. If I hadn't have taken that wrong turn, I wouldn't have been sitting right fucking here." That's one of faith. Here, listen with this. That's one of my favorite definitions of faith I ever heard. I'll give it to you real quick, Rue.
Oh, Jacqueline, thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Jacqueline. Well, so are you and Sarah. Um, it was this. I heard this guy talking, and he was referencing. I guess it was like Descartes or one of those French dudes. Exactly. Screw
Yeah.
is that this philosopher had said that when one gets old and one looks back on one's life, it becomes nearly impossible not to see it as though it were a book written to each event, whether you could see it or not at the time. Each one specifically led you to where you are today, no matter what. When you look back, you can see that. If you're honest with yourself, when you look back, you can see that. You can see that everything, my worst fucking day to my best day, they all ended and worked to get me here, right? Now, if you can do that, that's not faith because you've got your past experience, right? You can look backwards and go, I see that, man. I see the way that shit I didn't want to do that was horrible was necessary to get here. I see the way it all worked, right? Well, now here's the definition of faith I liked. He said, look, if you can look back and see that shit 100%, you can go, yeah. He said, why can't you just turn around and see the same damn thing and walk forward in the faith that it's all going to work like it has in the past? That to me was a way of taking sort of empirical evidence of my past. I can then look inside myself and go, no, self, that's right. Look, everything has worked to get you here. So now what should I assume? It's going to be the same going forward. So I can then blindly just keep fucking trucking along in faith. And that to me was one of my favorite definitions of it
Hmm.
because it brought in an empirical knowing. And then so I did that. And you know what, y'all? It fucking works. That's why I'm sitting here because this whole time I have been operating just like that. No plan, full faith that just like it worked back behind me, it's going to keep working in front of me.
Intuition and inspiration,
Amen.
instead of thinking.
Think
It's
long, think wrong.
and it's in the passages that you wrote, although very shortly mentioned. But we sometimes get so obsessed with objectives that we don't stop to smell the roses.
Hmm.
So what I mean is that typical thing on a journey on a car. Everybody's focused on arriving, and they miss everything. They miss the fields. They miss the
It's
birds. They
it's true. I heard
miss
I heard
everything.
something that hit home to me is so true, right? Like if I sit here now and let's look at you and me and this show and this audience that's here and these people talking and engaging and appreciating the work we're putting out. All right, listen, y'all. 3 short years ago, this right here, I could have never envisioned. Right, this right here is everything I could have thought I wanted to achieve just a couple short years ago. But now, what happens? See, the relativity, I think, is the way to say it. It loses because each time you take that new step and you're sitting here, you're still wanting to go, but next, right? Like I'm not there yet. Instead of taking a second and sitting down and going, no, wait a minute.
I'm
This is
here.
completely different than it was 2 years ago, right? Totally different. And you got to take the time to absorb that change and growth and appreciate it with yourself because for me that's also what keeps you going. But you gotta stop and enjoy every moment.
Steve.
The family that philosophizes together grows together. Amen.
Amen.
Come find us at the Institute of Natural Philosophy. We've got a Discord. We do all this shit all the time with each other there. We're growing. We've had some new board members. I don't guess we'll announce it, but we've had 2 new board members appointed today. And guys, listen, these 2 individuals you'll know about later. You've already know who they are and seen them all. But what that is that is a direct evidence of what I am always saying to you all at the end of every show.
I'm glad we inspired you. Rue.
Good. Thank you. I look forward to it, Rue.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
if you are an independent artist, researcher, activist, whatever, communicator, we want to talk to you. You've seen Sarah Braley, you've seen Vincent Barrows, you've seen all these other people that didn't, it's not like we did anything for them, but we found people who were just like us, who weren't part of the mainstream academia, and they had research and information that was important to the whole. They came and found us, and now they're members of the Institute of Natural Philosophy. And I encourage all of you to come do the same and be part of this living and growing tradition we're setting up here.
think you're in trouble.
What did I do? I got rainbow hearts from Sarah. What? Flip flops, Doug. That was a really good. That was a good plug, PR. I thought I did good there.
Mhm.
Public relations. Sarah is our head of PR at the Institute of Natural Philosophy. All right,
All
man.
right.
Well, we
Thank
are
you
going to
all.
continue, everyone. We will be back next. We'll probably visit DeSoto again. Perhaps on my platform. I don't know because I'm going to be out of town all next week, Ricardo. So we're going to have to do everything on the Institute's platform because I'll still
Hmm.
be here, guys. We'll still be doing the shows, but I'll be out of town and I won't be at my PC, so I can't do it from my platform. So yeah, let's do one or two on my platform this week to let everybody know what's up, and then we'll have to be all on. It'll be all on you next week. I'll
Sure.
be here, but I'll be on mobile and at the beach, so I won't be able to set it all up. And I'm going to print out the paper copies before I go, so we can keep up the reading. We will still be
Yeah,
here.
you have to keep reminding me to send you that.
Yeah, just before Monday or so.
Mm.
Get it to me. I'm gonna print everything out, and then we'll set up beachside and poolside and continue reading
Yeah,
Stardust
I think
and
two
the
chapters is
DeSoto
enough.
Chronicles. Yeah, definitely. I mean, because we, especially if we're getting good engagement, if you guys are continuing to engage like this, then absolutely, that's more important to me than speeding through the material.
So we have.
Thank you, Rue. Thank you, everybody. Pagan, Jay Quills, Steve Cardinal, Pagan, mathematician, screwdriver, tuning, Rue Bate, Scribe Jehudi, Thoth the Atlantean on X is how you find him. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I saw Amy WC in the
Yeah,
beginning as well. We love you guys.
yeah, we only have three more chapters. So
Yeah, excellent. So we might have to slow it down just to stretch it out
we
because
have
this is great.
catastrophism versus uniformitarianism next. Then we have determinism versus free will. It's also one of my favorites. And then the last, it's myths to religion.
Excellent. All right, everybody. From us to
So
you, we greatly appreciate you. We are really going to press end now, and we'll see you tomorrow.
very fond farewell to you all. Thank you.
See you, Rue. Back to bricks and minifigs.